am Tensquatawa, the teller of stories. Gather around the council fire and I will tell you the story of the sleeping princess. This legend comes from the land of Mexico when the mighty Aztec Indians ruled the land. Listen as my tale begins. From the fortress city of Tenochtitlan, the Aztecs ruled a large and mighty empire. The Aztec king was a powerful warrior and a wise ruler. He was also a kind and loving father who loved his daughter Ishtar very much. The princess was a beautiful and gentle girl who was admired and loved by all of the people. No one loved the Princess Ishtar more than Quatli, the youngest and bravest of the king's captains. Ishtar too was in love. From the first moment she saw Quatli, her heart was filled with love for him.
Of all my warriors, Quatli, you are the strongest and bravest. I will grant you anything that you want.
I want only one thing, my lord, and I dare not ask for it.
I have promised to give you whatever you ask.
I have only one wish, my lord. I would marry Princess Ishtar. I love her more than life itself.
The king rejoiced in his heart at the request, for he had hoped that someday his daughter would marry a brave young warrior who would rule the Aztec Empire with her. The king could see the happiness on his daughter's face and knew that she loved Quatli. The king knew that the young warrior was brave and honest, but he was not sure that the youth would be a good king. He had to be sure that Quatli would rule bravely and wisely.
Quatli, I would gladly give you permission to marry my daughter. But first, you must prove that you are worthy to be her husband and ruler of our people.
I will do whatever you command, my lord.
You will prove your bravery and strength by performing a number of dangerous tasks. If you succeed and return in triumph, you will marry Ishtar, and I will hail you as my son and heir.
The tasks set by the king were difficult, but Quatli was eager to prove himself worthy. He knew that if he did not succeed, he could never marry his beloved.
I have prayed to the gods that our wedding day would be soon. Now my father sends you away. Why?
My lord is a wise ruler, Ishtar. I must prove that I am worthy of you. I promise that I will return quickly, and we will be together forever.
Ishtar watched sadly as Quatli set off on his dangerous journey. As he disappeared from view, Ishtar felt a cold wind blow around her, and her heart was troubled. Quatli traveled for many days until he reached the tip of a towering mountain peak. On this peak were the nests of large and fierce birds. Their feathers were said to have great magical powers. Quatli was to bring back the feathers of these birds so that they could be made into a crown for Ishtar. As he descended from the mountain with the feathers, Quatli was attacked by the huge angry birds. With all of his strength, he was able to fight them off.
My first task is completed, and I am one step closer to returning to my princess. I pray that I will have the strength to complete my journey.
Next, the brave young warrior went deep into the earth to seek 3 brilliant jewels which would be part of Ishtar's marriage robes. Quatli did not know that these jewels were sacred to the gods and were jealously guarded by a large and cunning serpent.
You will pay with your life, foolish warrior. No man may take the jewels I guard.
Get over! My king has commanded that I bring back these jewels, and I must complete the tasks I have been given. And Princess Ishtar waits for my return.
Quatli conquered the serpent, but he could not rest. Other tasks waited and time was growing short. He did not notice the cold wind which suddenly blew around him. Even as Quatli was completing his tasks, the Princess Ishtar became deathly ill. The king, the priests, and even the wise doctors could do nothing to make her well.
Oh, Father, please don't let me die until Quatli returns and I see him once again.
Hush, my child. You will soon be strong and well. And when Quatli returns, you will be married.
No, Father. It is my time to go to the House of the Sun.
The days passed and the young princess grew weaker. The youths and maidens prayed daily at the temple for the recovery of their princess, but their prayers were not answered. Quatli found new strength as his journey neared its end. He stalked the great ocelot and slew it with his bare hands so that Ishtar might have a royal cape from its soft pelt. Quatli had only one more task. Across the wide river was a dense forest. In this forest grew mysterious and powerful berries. These berries made it possible for men to speak to the gods. Quatli would give these berries to the priests on his wedding day.
At last, I am finished. I can return to Tenochtitlan, to Ishtar and the king.
Quatli was too happy to feel how cold the wind had become, nor did he hear its mournful sound. Quatli carried his treasures quickly toward Tenochtitlan. He saw many people on the road, but they would not look at him. They turned their faces from him and would not speak.
Old man, why do you turn away from me? I am Quatli, captain to the king. Don't you know me?
We know you well, Lord Quatli. Do not ask your questions of us. You will find the answers at the palace. The young warrior ran quickly to the palace and fell on his knees before the king.
My lord, I have returned in triumph, but I see no joy at my homecoming. There is sadness all around me. Why is Ishtar not here to greet me? I have such wonderful tales to tell her.
She will not hear your tales, Quatli, for she has gone to the House of the Sun. The gods called her, and nothing could hold her spirit with us.
No. No. I don't believe it. It cannot be.
Come with me, then.
The king and the young warrior made their way to the mountain peak where Ishtar's body rested.
As you can see, my daughter's spirit has gone to the House of the Sun. You cannot marry her as you had hoped, but I will name you my son and heir. poor reward, I know, Quatley, my son.
Someday, Ishta, we will be together again. I cannot believe that I have lost you forever. My lord, that sound. What is that mournful chanting?
The people come each night, as we have, to see the princess. They come through the dangers of the night just to gaze upon her.
In his sorrow, the young warrior watched the people pass the bier of his dead princess. It was then that he knew what he must do.
My lord, you called me son. I ask you as my father to allow me to serve my princess and my people. Let me light the way so that they may come to see her as she rests upon the mountaintop.
Quatley climbed to a peak across from the one on which Ishtar rested. He stood with a brightly burning torch held high to guide the people on their unhappy journey. The torch was a guiding beacon in the darkness of the night. For many years, Quatley dwelled alone on the mountaintop. And then his spirit, too, made its way to the House of the Sun. At last, Ishtar and her warrior were united and would never again be separated. The gods wanted to remind the people of the power of love, and so they made the two mountains resemble the princess and her warrior who loved her. In Mexico today, the twin peaks can still be seen. Ixtaccíhuatl means the sleeping princess, and Popocatépetl means the bearer of the torch.